In this video, I'm going to walk you through Asana's timesheet and budget add-ons. So if you are someone who is managing people and you need to not only track time, but approve time and then take action on the time that's recorded, then this video is for you. And so let's jump right on in. First thing, if you are in Asana and you don't actually see timesheets up in the left-hand corner here, I'm going to show you how to turn that on. And so you need to be an admin. You're going to access your admin console or request that from someone on your team. And then you're going to go to your settings. You're going to scroll down and you are going to see your timesheet and resourcing option here. Here you can toggle on or off, enabling time tracking. And then from there, you can get more granular on the settings that you want to have available to the people inside of Asana. So whether we want to enable billable time or not, have billable or non-billable as the default measure when time is tracked. You can also change your currency here. So I'm going to keep mine in Canadian because I'm in Canada right now. And the approval process, you can have it so that you can submit it. Or within Asana, you could have approvers for certain groups of people so that when a timesheet is submitted, it goes to their manager. They would review that time. They can reject that time or approve it or have a conversation, if there's a question on the time that's been submitted. One thing I want to show you before we get over there is that you can add categories to your time tracking as well. So I've got internal work, external work, BAU work here as options. Now you can have any categories you want, and I'm going to show you why that actually matters once we get into the reporting and the dashboard. So you can add categories within here. So that people can select when they're tracking their time. You can have automated reminders for the folks that need to be submitting their timesheets, so you're not having to chase people down. And this will show up as a task inside of their My Tasks. When you navigate to the timesheets section, you can go in and start adding a project right from here. So I've got two examples. I've got my R&D cloud-based project here, and I've got this work in progress project that we're going to be working out of today. And I'm going to add my R&D project. So I'm just going to click up at the top. I'm going to pull in my R&D, and you're going to see that for this week, I've got no time tracked. So today, Monday, June 8th, I could go in and start adding tasks, or I could go to the project and start adding from there. But if we go to the project, we'll actually see what's happening. In the project, we've got our estimated time and actual time custom fields open here. So let me just reassign these to myself. Jamie Staples, let's change the date to today maybe. And estimated time for both of them, I'm going to say, an hour and 30 minutes. Now, when we go back to our timesheet, there are those tasks right there. These are the ones that I just pulled in. We can simply go in and we can add the actual time on them now. So say I worked on this for 15 minutes. I can select the category of work. Remember, I showed you the categories in the admin console. I can select the category of work if I want to, because if you do want to, you can add this to your reporting. So let's just say this is internal work. And so it would be non-billable in that case. Then I can add a quick note showing people how to use timesheet and budget add-on, and we can add that time there. Another thing you can do for the other task is just start your timer right from here as well. So this will go against that estimated time, and you can have it inside of here. So let's just say I went through my entire week. I added in all my time, but there's another project that I wanted to add to it as well. I could go and I can add that other project. So I'm going to add my work in progress project here. There it is. There are no tasks just yet. And so I can go in and I can click add task, and it's going to pull in all of the tasks that are in the project. You can't actually add a task to the project from here, but you can select the tasks that are already in there. So let me see if I can find myself. So you've got a copy task there. Let me go and add another one for Jamie Staples. So I've got an email tactic task there, and I've got some other email tasks. So today, again, I'm going to add in 45 minutes. This is external work. It's going to be billable, working on an email. And we can add that time there just like that. And so this is all going against our estimated time. And depending on how we have our project budget set up, which we're going to go to next, this will look a little bit different. But let's just say it's the end of the week now. I've tracked all my time for all my different projects, all my different tasks. We can go in and I can submit that time. So I can add a note here to say I was sick on Thursday. That's why time is short. We'll make it up. So whatever note you want to put there, and you would submit it. So I can't actually show you what happens here, but when I submit this, my manager, Jamie Staples' manager in this example, will receive a notification in their inbox and a task to approve the timesheet. And so they'll get something similar to this, where they'll see the amount of time for my projects on the week. And if you're managing multiple people, you'll be able to close this up and you'll actually see Jamie Staples time, Marquis Murray time here. And then when you open it up, you'll be able to see all the notes. You can ask questions, and then there's two little buttons to approve or reject that time. If it's rejected, it gets sent back to the submitter. So I'm actually just going to go in and submit it right now. You can see that it's submitted and now it's in review. So my manager now has a task to say, hey, you need to review Jamie Staples' timesheet for the week. That's what it looks like on the front end. I'm going to dive into our R&D cloud-based project here quickly to show you what it looks like on the other side. We already know that we can add our estimated time here. There's the 15 minutes that I added to the timesheet as actual time. So there's no duplicating of time entries here. There's nothing you have to do in addition to it. It's all connected. And so you don't have to worry about that. I can then go in and I can add some more manual time here. This can be for BAU work. Let's say it's non-billable. It's connected to this project, of course. And I can just say more BAU work and add that time. Okay. So we're starting to get a sense of like how it works, what it looks like, and how we can actually submit that time. Now, if I'm the person that's administering the project, maybe I'm the team lead, I'm running a department, I'm a project manager, and I want to make sure that I am up on all of the different budgets for the projects that I'm looking at. Okay. As you can see, this is connected to a portfolio. So we could, have costs for each of these people. We could have estimated time and actual time roll up to the portfolio. But before we get there, I'm going to show you the project settings. So when you click on the chevron here, you're going to see an option to set the project budget. Now, I've already done this for this project. We're going to go and walk through it for our work in progress one. So don't worry. But you can see here, we've spent $212 out of our total budget of $5,000. We're looking at strictly costs here. The costs are in Canadian because I changed the currency in my admin console. I could also set it to hours though as well. So if I had a total budget of hours, in this case, 40 hours, we're running the clock against those 40 hours. If I switch it back over to costs, I can see that I can have people here and we have their hourly rates, right, for each of those individuals. And then we can set our total budget as well for the entire project. And so the graph you see here is going to be working against that, okay? And so what's nice about this is you can have your estimated costs where you can look at the tasks like we did. We added our estimated time within the task, or you can use capacity planning. And so if we were to, let me just go and pull one up here really quickly. Let's go and set up a capacity plan. I'm just going to create a new one. And I'm going to add my project. So in this case, I'm going to add R&D and I'm going to add my work in progress. There we go. The same ones that we're going to be working out of today. And if I wanted to add a person, so again, I'm going to choose myself. Let's go estimated time as our measure of effort. We can say that Jamie is going to be on this project for 25 hours. And we can add another person. Michelle is going to be on this project for this duration of time for another 25 hours. We can even add placeholders here as well. And what's nice is placeholders can then be added to our project budget builder. So we can add a placeholder. I can have a designer in this example, and I can create. So we need a designer for about 10 hours. There we go. So in my capacity plan, as it relates to these projects, I can now pull in that information. So let's just go back over here and we'll see what that looks like. You can see there, my designer as a person has been added. There's no hourly rate for them. Let's just say that for a contractor, maybe they're $100 an hour, right? And now we have their costs. And so in the capacity plan, we're now pulling capacity planning or estimated time in this case from that plan. As long as a project is added to your capacity plan and you've got your forecast set up there, you can use that to estimate your budgets here. Then you get actual costs. You can look at billable time, non-billable time, or all time kind of summed up into one. I like having them separated. And then the threshold notification is something you can toggle on and off. So whichever measure of effort for your budget you set here, you can set a threshold. So at 80% of achieving that budget, you'll be notified. Or if you want to look at estimated costs, you can set that as well. So let's go over to our work in progress project because it's blank as of today. So let's go build our budget here. So we're going to set our project budget. In this case, let's set it to costs. Okay. So we've got our costs here. As you can see, 0 spent, and we can start adding our people. If we want to add individuals to the project, we can do that. So I'm going to add in Michelle, Luis, Pierre, and Alice. So we've got some people in there. And because we're looking at costs, we need to obviously have their rates. And so you have to be a project admin in this case to have access to this information, of course, but we just have different varying rates for the individuals. Don't worry if your team members, the ones that are completing the tasks as editors, they won't actually see this information. You have to be a team admin and then a project admin to see all this different information. So you're not leaking anything here. Then we can save these rates. But what if we have hundreds of people and they're all working on this project? We don't want to have to go through and select all of these. And so I'm going to remove all of these people. And as you can see, we have an option. We could pull in our placeholder there. We've got our designer now, but I'm actually going to pull in an entire team. So the place where our R&D project lives right now is in the staff team. So I'm just going to select the entire team. And as you can see, it says no rate here. So I'm going to select hourly rates, and I'm going to show you exactly how I got that hourly rate. So I'm going to select that hourly rate, and I'm going to add it right there. Everyone still has zeros across the board because I haven't set it up at my team level, okay? Only one person, myself, Jamie Staples, has their hourly rate set here, okay? So let me save that rate. When we go to our staff team, this is the hub for everything. You have a nice overview section of all your work. You can have short links here. You can have all your members here. You have all your work and your templates. You can also manage these different rates and costs. Your default when you come into a member's space in a team is you're going to see their name and you're going to see just their job title. Job title comes from their profile. So if I were to go to my profile, my job title is marketing director. And so that's where it's pulling that from initially, marketing director there. So you can't change this here, but we can pull in a cost field. So I'm going to add my number here. I'm going to call this hourly rate. You can call it hourly cost, whatever you want. And I'm going to set it as a currency. I'm going to change it to Canadian. And then we can create that field. And so now we can start adding in rates for all of our people. And ideally, as people are onboarded, you get them added to this team so that any changes that are made are reflected here. And again, only the team admins in this case can add this information or see this information. So you're not giving anything away. We can go back to our work in progress project or go back to set our budget here. And let's just remove all people. And let's go teams, staff, set our rate to hourly rate, and let's add. We've got our rates pulling in now. So again, you make that change in one spot, and then it's going to update here. So the total budget in this case, let's say we've got 10,000 that we want to work against. Now we've got, a number up here. So based on the actual time that I tracked, that 15 minutes for the individual that tracked it, Jamie Staples, at $100 an hour, we've got 1% of that budget used. I also want to see my estimated costs, and I want to see that based on the tasks. And so right now, based on the estimated time that I've filled in this work in progress project and the people that I've assigned there, we're estimating our costs are going to be about this much. So it's taking the hourly rate of those folks, and then it's obviously multiplying it by the estimated time within that project. We can see our actual time here as well. And again, you can toggle between billable time, non-billable time, and all time. And I'm going to turn on my threshold notification here as well. So that's our budget set. We can come back and make any changes that we want, okay? But I'm going to show you how we can actually start, using this data and reporting on this data so that it's actually helpful for us. So I'm going to switch back to my R&D project here because I've already got the dashboard built. When we go into dashboard now, we can create different charts. And so here I have some examples. If you wanted to add your own, you can go into the widget, add a chart, and rather than reporting on work, you're going to switch to time entries right over here. And so we can report on time, we can report on financials. I'm going to report on time. It's top of mind for us right now. And then rather than a bar in this case, I'm going to go stacked bar. So you can get different information as you can see here. On the x-axis, I can see the staff members. Right now, it's just myself, Jamie Staples. You can have all your team members across the x-axis. You can group by billable and non-billable. You can even group by time categories. So remember those categories we set up in the admin console, so you can see the people on your team, how they're using their time, right? Ideally, we want to make sure all of our time is tracked, but that's not realistic in a lot of cases. And so at the end of the week, you might see some, buffers or, people topping up their time with BAU work or internal work. But ideally, we're clocking everything inside of Asana. You can come in and you can now see different information, and then the unit of time can be whatever we want. I like hours in this case. It's easiest for everyone to understand, but you can change that at your will. And of course, add different filters to get the information that you want, right? Don't forget to name your chart before you add it. So I'm not going to add mine because I've already got it here. So I can see in this case, let's just go edit this one. It's based on our actual costs. I'm looking at financials here as well. You can have data labels and benchmarks here as well, which is really nice. So if I toggle off the data label, you see the numbers are removed, and then the benchmark line is there as well. So we can set an average. So we can say, hey, this is the bottom line. We can't go below this. Anyone that's above this is good. And we can get really good indicators on how well we're tracking towards achieving our billable hours requirements so that we can have and run a profitable business. That is timesheets and budgets. I mean, there's lots under the hood here, but this is a tool that I think helps a lot of teams to track their time, to manage the time, to take action on that time. And what's really nice is I was a part of the team that helped to design this timesheet and budget add-on that you're looking at here today. As an agency, we use Harvest, and our goal is to transfer everything that we're doing in Harvest right now from a time tracking, project forecasting, and project budget tracking into Asana as well. So if you're kind of on the fence about what this could look like for you and this video was interesting to you, I'd love to hear more. I'd love to understand what your use case is, and we can actually set up a demo for your team that's specific to your use case. So if that is of interest to you, reach out, book a call. There'll be a link somewhere in the description for you. We're looking forward to hearing from you. But if you found this helpful and you think it would help someone else on your team, please do me a favor and pass this along to them. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.